Good morning, Veritas All-Stars. Here is the All-Star Challenge for Tuesday, June 9th, 2020. I got a nice tripod thanks to the other teachers. Thank you guys for this awesome tripod. So I'm going to be actually using the computer in a second because my artistic skills are not excellent. So let's go with number 4. Mia is playing several rounds of a word game. Each coordinate pair shows the number of a round and Mia's score for that round. She is keeping track of these coordinate pairs on a coordinate plane. Okay, so let me go back. Mia is playing several rounds of a word game. So I noticed round 1, round 2, round 3. Okay, so that makes sense to me. Each coordinate pair, now you might not be sure what a coordinate pair is, but it's telling us that each coordinate pair shows the number of a round and Mia's score for that round. So notice number of a round, round 1. Number of a round, round 2, number of a round, round 3. So this first one is just showing us the number of the round. The second part is showing Mia's score. Okay, so very carefully, I'm really carefully reading through this. It first shows the number of rounds. So if you're not sure exactly what coordinate pairs are showing, this is the number of the round, and this is Mia's score for that round. She is keeping track of these coordinate pairs on a coordinate plane. So these are the pairs, right? There's 2 of them. And she's going to be keeping track of it on a coordinate plane, which is what I will show you on the computer because I couldn't draw it quite that well. Okay, so let me set up my tripod here. Okay, we'll see how this goes. Okay, so this is the same thing I just read to you. Mia's playing several rounds. We got the rounds down, right? This is the round. And the second number here in the pair is her score for that round. Okay? Now let's go down to part A. It says, which coordinate plane correctly shows Mia's score for the first 3 rounds of play? Okay, so we're going to have to kind of keep going back and forth to here. So round 1 was 1-3. Round 2 was 2-6. And round 3 was 3-3. So let's look at these coordinate planes. So these are called a coordinate plane, each of these drawings here. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit. So the X, this way here, are the rounds of play, right? So 1, 2, and then 3. This side, the Y-axis, this axis here going up and down, is their score. So for round 1, was the score 3? Yes. For round 2, was the score 6? Yes. For round 3, was the score 3? All right, we're just going round 1, score 3. Round 2, score 6. Round 3, score 3. Yes. So we already found that A is the correct one. So A is correct for part A. Now let's just carefully go through these other ones and make sure that I'm not missing anything. Okay, so these are the rounds. So this one has 2 scores for round 3, so that can't be right. And then 1 score for round 6. That can't be right either. There were only 3 rounds so far. Now let's go down to C. C has a score for round 0, right? A score for round 1 and a score for round 2. So that can't be right because there's supposed to be 1, 2, and 3 rounds. Now this one has 1, 2, and 3 rounds, so let's check this. This says that in round 1, the score was 2. But this says round 1, the score was 3. Round 2, this says the score was 5. This says 2, the score was 6. And round 3, the score was 2. When it says round 3, the score was 3. So I just wanted to check to make sure that I wasn't missing anything. And yes, I was correct that A is the correct choice for this. It shows round 1, score 3. Round 2, score 6. And round 3, score 3. So that is exactly what it said on this first part here. Okay? Round 1, score 3. Round 2, score 6. Round 3, score 3. So part A is correct for part A. So part A, the answer is A. Okay? So you can just, I know it's kind of hard to choose. I told you to, nope, this one didn't have a line for you to put it on. So just somewhere around here, you could just type the answer is part A. You could go right here and say the answer is A. I'm not going to type it in because you're going to have this assignment. All right, now let's go to B. In round 4, Mia scores the same number of points as in rounds 2 and 3 combined. What is the coordinate pair that represents Mia's score for round 4? All right, so now remember that the first one was the round. The X here is the round, 1, 2, and 3, and the Y is her score. So it says that in round 4, so we already can tell that the X is going to be 4. So we can cross off B and C. The answer has to be either A or D because it says round 4 needs to be in the spot where it says the rounds, which is the X-axis down here. So B and C are wrong. We're choosing now between A and D. So let's see what else this says. She scored the same number of points as in rounds 2 and 3. And remember that their score is the Y-axis here. So the score is going to be, she scored the same number of points as rounds 2 and 3 combined. So let's look back to here. Rounds 2 and 3 combined, she scored 6 points in round 2 and 3 points in round 3. So combine those makes 6 plus 3 is 9. So the coordinate pair is 4 because it's round 4. And the score was those combined scores for rounds 2 and 3, which are 9. So our next coordinate pair for round 4 is 4, 9. So the answer is D. Round 4, score 9. So part A, the answer is A. Let me zoom this out a little bit. Part A, the answer is A. And part B, the answer is D, 4, 9. Okay, so we got A for part A and D for part B, which was the coordinate pair 4 for the X and 9 for the Y. Give yourself some snaps if you got that. That was a pretty complicated problem, right? It was hard because it was on 2 separate pages, so you really had to be careful. I did that on purpose. I could have moved it all the way down onto the next page, but I wanted to make it a little challenging for you guys because you're doing such a good job lately. And this happens sometimes in a test where you have to go from one page to the next, and that used to drive me crazy because it's really hard to do. So this was a little bit of practice. What I did was I wrote those rounds down, right? I wrote this information down on the paper. That way I didn't have to keep going back and forth. I had it right on my scrap paper here, right? You noticed I kind of went like this a lot, right? So that's one strategy you can use when you have like this, I got to flip back between 2 pages. It happens in ELA a lot where you have like 2 different reading assignments that you have to go back and forth between. So I thought this would be a good chance to practice that. And then we move on to, you have to kind of flip back and forth between the pages unless you're able to write them down, which would be a strategy I recommend. All right, and that's it. Everybody have a great day. We'll see you guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow.